What is up, everybody? We're back. Alright. So, we're back. We're going to be continuing our playthrough with our Vengeance Paladin Batman. Currently aren't using Vengeance yet because we're not level 18. So what we're doing in the interim is using Holy Fire and Zeal. Earlier today in the last portion, we rescued Deckard Cain, and we came back to town to, sell some stuff. We also did our first Countess run, first probably of many. Oh, there's a Malice right there, is LF. And we are doing solo self-found, which is why I'm kind of putting everything away specifically like this and not just like shift clicking it into the shared stash, because we're not using a shared stash. We're just we're doing it this way. So poison damage and stamina. Ooh, okay, we got some dual res gloves here that we just found. +3 to Firestorm. Again, if you were planning to make a druid at any point, I would hang on to this. I already have something similar to that though, so I'm not going to keep that, but that's definitely a keepable wolf head. Chance caps amplified damage on striking. Life stolen per hit. I kind of like that. Let's see what our damage looks like. We lose a tiniest amount of damage. We actually gain some attack rating. I think I'm going to switch to this. We're going to go with this. It's not often that we switch out a scepter for a spiked club, but here we are. Unless we have something better here. +1 to Holy Fire. Alright, so we'll look at the character real quick. For combat skills, we have Zeal because we're making our way down to Vengeance. We have Charge because we want to be able to charge around. I don't know if we're going to put one in Holy Shield because we may switch to two-handers at some point. Currently we're using Holy Fire, but we will respec when we have the chance to. Because it's going to be, these will be 1-point wonders just to get it, or these guys just to get us down to conviction. Resist fire is a synergy for Holy Fire, so that's why we have that. And let's drop this off. And then let's see what kind of bow we're rocking. We do have that. I think we did find a socketed bow. We have a 3-socket bow. We just don't have anything to put in it yet, except for this guy. So let's go do some more tower. Because I know I definitely want a stealth at minimum. We had been playing on players 8, but we turned it down to players 1 at the end of the tower run last time because we want to farm Countess on players 1 for the purposes of rune drops. But as you can see, if you're playing on players 1, Holy Fire just like crushes. The pulse is killing some of the monsters, so. Yep. All right. Mercenary gained level. She's now up to level 11. So she's a few behind us. We will, that happens a lot in normal, especially pretty much pre-level 25. You're going to run it, or pre-level, 25, 30, you'll run into that. Once the XP cliff changes, though, around level 25, you'll stop. See, they'll start to like maintain like a, hey, we're like one level behind you or your level type of a thing. Let's go ahead and slurp a mana pot here. Got superior hard leather armor. And we could have technically made a stealth for our mercenary. I'm not really worried about that. Usually I find that I have better luck just giving my mercenary like a rare armor that we find or something like that. Or if, of course, we find a unique armor, like if we find a rock fleece or something, that would be awesome. I did put 2 chipped topazes in a cap because having a little bit of magic find early on in the game can be really good. Magic find does have this unique property where it does have diminishing returns. So the first point of magic find is the most powerful. So having like 18, you'll feel more of a difference going from 0 magic find to 18 magic find than going from like 300 magic find to 350 probably. But I'm not necessarily 100% sure if that's accurate, but that's what it seems. I know it's something similar to that. Because the higher you go, each point becomes worth less and less and less and less. Alright. I'll attack the Countess here. There's our stealth in 1 drop. Love that. We'll go ahead and save and exit, and we'll go back in. So we have our stealth, so we could stop there, but I do want to continue to farm a little bit because I want to have some options for some additional runes. Like stealth steel would be cool. Although we're probably not going to use that for too terribly much. If we found it right now, it would be fine. But once we move away from steel and into vengeance, we don't really want that because steel is more of an attack speed and like a quick slashing item. We want like a big beat stick once we switch to vengeance because vengeance is based off of our physical damage of our weapon. So we want to have just like the most damaging weapon we can get, which is probably going to be a big 2-hander like most of the time. Faster hit recovery. Okay. Let's see if this is better than her current. Oh yeah, big increase. So we love that. And even though, so I'm just going to put the stealth in now, even though technically it doesn't actually work because we're not high enough level to use it, but this way we don't forget. So. And she's got, so she's got that kind of stuff. So she is all good. And let's do another tower run. See, that just first pulse of Holy Fire was hilarious. It's just like, move, get out the way. When we initially switched to Vengeance for our, I haven't decided exactly what we want to use for our aura. My thought is probably Blessed Aim, to just make sure that we're hitting, and then eventually we will switch to Conviction Aura. We could also run, like a 1 point of Holy Freeze would be pretty dang good to just for safety purposes. Here's a rare armor. Let's check it out and see if this is good for our mercenary. Cold and poison res, and poison length reduced. I think that's better than what she's currently got. Oops. Need to find some more mana pots here. Yeah, so we'll do at least a few more of these, and kind of get some runes to make sure that we can do like for example, we have stuff to make a malice. That's great because that's probably what we'll want to do. When we get to Act 2, we can get an Act 2 mercenary and give him a malice. That'd be pretty strong. But we want to have other options as well. Having a few Ral runes laying around, for example, will be very helpful. Again, we could also do like a Tal as a weapon for a mercenary. Let's see, we currently have all res 10. Now you could, so you can do we'll definitely do a one-handed vengeance paladin, and you could use, if they're doing that, you can use holy shield and go for max block, that type of thing. But if you want to be, I feel like for vengeance specifically, I like the idea of being like, you know, we're gonna swing a big two-hander, we're gonna do a ton of damage, we're gonna one-shot enemies, and so but our defenses will be, you know, a little bit more lacking than you would normally expect from a paladin. So. Okay. But resistances we can still take care of in other ways. Of course, we could farm up for things like a smoke eventually, or we can, you know, get a helmet and shove some runes into it. Especially if we find like a cool socketed rare helmet, that would be really, really dope. We can also, there's just lots of things we can do to kind of help ourselves along. Let's see what, Kane identify this stuff. We got some min and max damage here. That's poopy. But yeah, so we'll do a few more of these runs of the tower, and then we will, once we have a few more runes stored up, then we will go into, we'll move forward and head towards Andariel. And that's why I like the Act 1 rogue. She has that inner sight ability, which is really good for making sure we land our attacks. It nerfs the enemy defense, so gained another level there. Holy fire again. Let's go to dexterity in case we decide to use a flail event when we get to Act 2. Or I guess if we find one, but flails I think take like 40 something strength and 35 dex. I think so we'll get up to, you know, 45 and 35 or something like that. And that should be good for a little bit. But again, also, you know, we're going to keep our eyes out for cool, just big damage two-handers. Like if we could find, like I said, a big axe or something like that would be really great. And Holy Fire put in work here. Check out this preserved head. That might be worth a little bit. Has, you know, plus the clay golem on it. So, but another Tarj. We always want to check these. Yeah. All res not 8 is not 10. So. Da, 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 da. Tear rune. That would give us mana per kill. Which isn't super great for us, but it wouldn't be bad. I mean, it wouldn't be terrible. It would basically make it so we don't have to worry about carrying mana potions anymore, because we just walk around a group of Fallen and we get more mana back. But I don't have a socket to put it in, so I'm not gonna worry about it. We do need a better belt, though. Having an actual, a full-on belt to faster hit recovery, and so we lose 1 res, we'll get faster hit recovery. I think that's worth it. We don't need that many potions, not right now. Let's check for Charcy and see if she has belts. She does have a belt. There we go. That's much better. So we still need some love on a lot of slots, but you know what? We're doing all right for now. +1 to frozen armor. It's a level 1 skill, so that's probably not worth anything. Ooh, rare boots. Faster hit recovery. FHR is good for us because since we are a melee character, we're kind of up in everyone's face, and if we don't want to get stun locked to death, which can happen very easily early on because you don't have a ton of health. And the way hit recovery works in this game is if you take a certain percentage of your maximum health as a single hit, you will go into hit recovery. There's a Malice base. We could make Malice in that. And this is why eventually we want cannot be frozen. Being frozen when you're a melee character can be very much be a death sentence. So getting cannot be frozen somewhere on your character sheet is very important. It's relatively helpful. It's helpful for a caster too, just because you don't want to be stuck like not moving very much. But for melee characters, it's vital. Like you have to have cannot be frozen. Because going without it is just, I mean, you can get through, but it's horrible. Whereas when you have it, the only thing that can really slow you is those holy freeze, because that for some reason does not count as being frozen. It's coded as being chilled, which functionally is the same. You move a lot slower and you attack a lot slower, but for some reason cannot be frozen does not protect you from that. Kind of the Diablo 2's kind of interesting quirks. It's like, cannot be frozen, except for this one specific kind of frozen. So I guess technically, maybe you're not frozen, you're just a tidbit nippy. Thank you. Die. Thank you. Oh, charm. Always want to pick up charms because you never know. Even in very early part of the game, you can get good charms. Oh, there's our triple tau weapon. So now let's see, what are we waiting on? I mean, just kind of some Ral runes pretty much, but we can, I mean, theoretically could move on now. We're level 16 now. Yeah, so we have this rare Bardiche. It's just but the chance to amplify damage is pretty good, but I think we're going to keep our 3 Socketer instead. And then we'll put all our Tal runes over here. Alright, Kane, what do we got? +1 to Firestorm, +1 to Werewolf, +2 to Miasma Bolt, +1 to Strength and maximum stamina. Yeah, we don't need that. Alright, do we want to do one more? I would like at least 1 Ral rune, so I'll go into like at least 1 Ral rune. Yeah. That happens sometimes when you charge. You'll run into a tiny little bump in the ground and it'll stop you. It's like the, if you ever played Left 4 Dead, the charger in there, he has that kind of same problem. He can plow through 10 players and knock people off cliffs and all kinds of crazy stuff, but he can also get stopped by a paper cup laying on the ground. So, interesting how that works. Another scepter. Let's see if that's Holy Fire. +2 to Might. That might be worth money. It's only level 1 skill, but it's +2, so that's a big increase. So it might be worth something. Ooh, a ring. Okay, a large axe. Now we could be cooking with gas. 6 to 15. Yeah, not worth it yet. Now, if we're not using, again, we aren't using Vengeance yet, so we don't really super need to worry about the physical damage part yet. But we are keeping our eye out for high physical damage bases, and that thing doesn't quite qualify. The Bardiche does, though. The Bardiche has got it's very variable because it's 1 to 27 base on a Bardiche, but 27 max damage base is a lot for this part of the game. So, in fact, I think it's probably the highest we could possibly find. A damn barrel in my way. Scimitars are great for a actual, like, if you're going to plan on being Zeal for a while, scimitars are pretty good because they attack incredibly fast. So you can make, and also if you get a 2-socket one, like you can put a steel in it, and that would be awesome if you were going to continue on with Holy Fire and Zeal. But since we're going to be switching to Vengeance, we don't really care. We don't want to invest runes in an item we're only going to use for another level and a half. One thing about these racks, if you approach them from the same way every time, you'll get the same class of item every time. So if you always come in and circle around it and come at it from this angle, you'd get the same item every time. So that's good. Like if you find a rack that you approach it from, this side, and it drops like a Monarch, you could farm that rack because it'll drop a Monarch if you approach it from that side every time. And that's a good way to like farm for incredibly difficult to find rare items like a J-Mod, or you can even potentially you can get uniques and stuff from racks. They're just very rare. Ooh, a spear. That may be just what the doctor ordered. Let's get these out of here. Let's grab the spear, and yeah, we'll grab the dagger and the sacred globe. Let's check out this spear. I do kind of wish that Amazons and Paladins could use two-handed spears in one hand. Not two-handed polearms, but spears specifically in one hand. Because for the Paladin, it fits the kind of that like legionary, Spartan aesthetic that that you can kind of go for with him. Having a spear and then a shield and then a gladius on swap would be really cool. And the Amazon, I mean, she specializes in spears, and so I think that she should be able to use a two-handed spear and a shield, but especially since the warlock can. So the Dragon Chang, it's +10 to minimum damage, attack rating, 100% damage to undead, adds fire damage. So we can, and then this ring is just minimum damage. Okay, so let's put this here for a second, and let's go and go our F throne here, and a Neff, and a bunch more of these rejuves. We haven't found any chipped gems in the last few runs, which is interesting. Alright, let's sell these, and then we'll check to see what our damage looks like with the spear. So this we have 67 to 131 versus 54 to 116. This is going to do, the physical damage will be doubled against undead, but I don't know how much that's super going to matter. We'll try it out. We'll use it for one run. Let's see how it goes. I just think the idea of I think spears are really cool. They're actually like one of my favorite, and just in a lot of games I feel like they just get the short end of the stick and aren't nearly as good as they were actually in real warfare. Like spears were very good. Like it's long range, you can use it to do a lot of interesting technical maneuvers with, like you can trip people with it, you can you can go around shields with it, like spears were amazing. That's why the Spartans used spears as their primary weapon. Their sword was their backup. Spears are just, and of course, then when you add mounted combat, I mean, a lance is basically just the same idea as a spear, right? It's just a spear specifically designed to be used on horseback. So I think spears are, and I think the aesthetic is really cool. Again, why him and the Amazon can't also have a shield is, a little unfortunate, but I like the animation with the spear too. Yeah, I think we'll keep it for vibes. I think this is gonna be I think that's what we're gonna do. Technically speaking, is the mace better? Maybe a little bit, or the scepter, but I think this is cooler, and I'm gonna go with rule of cool. If you're following along and you're more comfortable with the scepter, because it does have the better attack speed, and you got the shield, which adds safety. And so if you want to if you're playing along and you want to keep the scepter, you do it. But I am gonna rock this spear for a bit. Also, it's unique, and it's a unique weapon that you don't get to use very much because it's low level uniques. You tend not to find them when you're level appropriate for them, because you don't have a ton of magic find at low level. So you don't get to use this kind of stuff very often in a solo self-found run. Usually if you're going to use stuff like this, it's going to be in a shared stash run where you're like, oh, I have this random spear that I found, that's cool, let me use that. Which is why I do sometimes like the shared stash runs, because it does afford you that ability to be like, hey, here's a random lower level item that I think is really cool, but I never would find it in a build I can actually use it on at that level. Yeah. Anyway, case in point of all of this is I'm digging the spear. I think it's cool. And we got the holy fire thing going on. This is great. You can throw and shoot things with holy, I know you can shoot bows with holy fire. I'm not sure if throwing items work with holy fire. Like, I don't know if a javelin does. I think it does, but I am not 100% sure. I guess we could test it for science. But javelins are pretty strong early game. They do like a lot of high end. They do a lot of damage when you throw them. Not the greatest when you're like actually poking with them, but when you throw them, they do pretty pretty high end damage, so. There's a chip and a charm. S-Towel, so still no Ral Rune. Poopy, just stamina. Let's keep doing the tower until we hit level 17. At this next run, we'll probably hit level 17, so then we can use our stealth. And then we can move on towards Andariel. By the time we get to Andariel, we'll have access to Vengeance. And we'll get to see what Vengeance does. Although, honestly, just using the Holy Fire and stabbing her a couple times with this spear is probably more than enough to get her DED dead. Again, because Andariel is very weak to fire. She is minus 50 fire res. So if you're ever a fire build, farming, Andariel is one of your best places to farm, whether that be Nightmare, Hell, whatever you decide to do. Because she keeps that negative 50 fire res all the way through, even in Hell. Ooh, a superior Bardiche. Let's see if, and a rare spear. Alright, we've got some items to look at here. Oh, and it's ethereal. Man, if this had sockets. But it doesn't. Enhanced damage, damage done death. That's just basically a worse version of the unique spear we have. And Please is doing well. She is now level 12. Again, we could instantly level her up a few times just by hiring a new mercenary. Because when you hire a mercenary, they will instantly hire at one level behind you. So their 2 socket helm. We'll go ahead and hang on to that in case we decide to make a resistance helm or eventually a lore. And the fact that I can poke them from so far away is also, like, pretty sick. Which is which again, and historically one of the strengths of the spear is, you could turtle with it, basically. So you can, like, hold up your shield and still poke people at a distance that their sword isn't effective, but your spear is. And you can still generally, if you're, it takes a lot of skill, but you could still also hold up your shield. So that's kind of how the Spartan fighting style worked, basically, is, you hold up your shield and make a wall, and then in between the small cracks in that wall, you stab people. And it worked really well for a very long time, until it didn't. Eventually, warfare evolved, and they were defeated, and all that kind of stuff. But for a very long time, they were the chief ass kickers of Europe. So, and they used the mighty spear shield combo. So, we're level 17 now. Let's go ahead and so this will be 18, 17, 18. Yeah, we'll wait until we can do No route rune still, but that's all right. Well, we've farmed a good amount. We're gonna move on. You know, sometimes you don't find it, and that's okay. It's not super vital that we do so. So go ahead and put that in here. Our other towel rune. We have so many of these. Let's go ahead and make a towel. And then we'll do this. We'll go ahead and take her stuff and throw it on the ground. Thank you, Aunt Lisa. Your services have been very helpful. But we're going to replace you with... Let's do Blaze. And then we're going to give Blaze the... Oh, she needs one more level to be able to use that, so we'll give her bow back for now, and then next level. Alright, but we're going to move on. So let's go back to players 8, now that we're not farming Countess anymore. Oh, there's a super chest here. We could have been farming that as well, if I had known that was there. It's a bit out of the way of the tower, but that's alright. Super chests are a special type of chest that have like, they're like way better chests. Basically, they have like a much better drop table than a normal chest. So, and they're in specific places dotted throughout the maps. Most notably, Lower Kurost, where there's the kind of infamous 2 huts around the fire pit. Oh hi. I'll back up a little bit. Let our holy fire do some work. Let's kill these spikes. They hurt. 21 to attack rating is better than 11, so we'll take that. The nice thing about stuff like that, those rings, yeah, only 11 attack rating doesn't sound like much, but keep in mind that's before your skills. So when you're using Zeal, it gives you 10% more attack rating, so you know that adds up over time. Especially if you get later on when you get an item that adds, like 50 or 100 attack rating. Well, then multiply that out times whatever percent change your skill gives, and you're looking at lots of attack rating from an item that seemingly isn't an insane amount. So the power of multipliers, massively overused in today's games. Because everything's multiplied now, and that's why we do, and that's why in Diablo 4 you do, trillions of damage, and it's ridiculous. But get out the way. Get poked. Get poked. There's a ginger ale for you in there. All right. us another spear here. 3-socket spear. We're gonna keep, I think we'll end up using the Bardiche instead of the spear. There's a ginger ale in there for you. Superior zombie head. Well, we need to repair our spear here. Lego and weaken and raise skeleton. That's probably worth money. Let's go ahead. Let's go back and repair. Okay. Boldhorn the Flayer. Interesting, just differences between the classes. So the Amazon has a spear, javelin and spear skill called Jab. She has multiple quick strikes, kind of like Zeal. But unlike Zeal, Jab targets the same enemy with all three jabs, whereas Zeal will target different enemies. So that's an interesting change and kind of trade-off there, right? So if you're poking down a strong enemy that's going to take multiple hits, Jab would be better. But if you're surrounded, technically Zeal would be better. But they also have a move kind of like Zeal. They have an ability called Fend. It doesn't, historically has not worked as, the way it should. And I still think it could be reworked and probably made better. But what Fend does is it hits everyone around you, but it's within range of your attack. So if you have a big old long spear like this, it can hit like a, I think it should be, it would be nice if it was like a bigger circle, but kind of really played into the, if the Amazon is a master of a spear, she should be the master of, making the most out of its range. So anyway, just stuff like that, stuff that I think of. I'm not generally big on making changes to games that are really old, but I mean, we're in the world of, we just got a whole new, expansion. So if we're gonna make changes, let's make some changes and boost up some of these weaker builds. And Spirazon is definitely one of them. She's really cool, but she kind of sucks. Javzon is ridiculously good. But Bozon and Spearzon could use some love. Okay. Okay, so extra strong, so he's a beefy boy. Zeal was hitting him multiple times because he was the only target. If you only have one target, Zeal will multi-hit, but which technically makes it more flexible than Jab, because Jab always hits just the one thing. So zombie head. Correct. Which is why we're not going to die here, Mr. Paladin. It's a waypoint, we might as well use it. Dual res, faster hit recovery, and a socket. I think I like that better. She is not leveled yet. It is certain we face the Demon Queen, Andariel. Andariel was so scary when I was a kid. She's a giant, 8-foot tall, basically naked demon woman, like sprinting at you, shooting, you know, poison. Very spooky. She's more modestly dressed now, because she was full on like breast out for Harambe in the original game. Ow. No, buggers. Man, that's a strong death clan. Good grief. Blaze, really. Yeah, if you shoot him with your exploding arrow, it works better than if you just, you know, shoot him with your regular arrow. Just saying. Alright, now we have access to Vengeance, so we are going to switch our main attack here to Vengeance. Once we kind of clear this little... Alright, so now we got Vengeance. Let's pull up our character sheet here. So currently we're doing 67 to 131 with Vengeance. Doing 98 to 168. Granted, it's only one attack, not two, but we will eventually move away from Holy Fire, but we're going to keep this until we kill Andariel. We'll respec after we kill Andariel. Oh my goodness. These guys are tough. Ooh, a spiked club that is stout now. This is a great item for early game. Like, look at the damage on that thing. We're only required level 5, no strength requirement, plus 7 to vitality. And 10 to 16 damage. Fast attack speed. It does more max damage than it did in this thing. Like, what in the hell? Faster hit recovery and poison resist. We're going to keep this. especially since we're going to be fighting Andariel soon, and she does poison damage, so. Go for it. Mike, underneath my hat. Bam. Another Grand Charm. Oops. Secret room in here. See if there's any goodies. Oh, large charm. Alright, well, I guess it's fairly obvious which direction we need to go. Oh, that's right here. Wow. Isn't that always the bricks? Vengeance. Okay. Oh, didn't mean to open that door. I was gonna stab him through the wall, but. Oh, that's a lot of ghosts. Gotta be careful here. Ghosts do drain mana. This one has stone skin, and they already have good physical resistance, so yeah, ghosts can be pretty spooky. More ghosts. But we have a spear, so we'll just stab them through the wall. Alright, well. Screw that guy, I guess. Another chipped. Another reason why to collect chipped gems is you can use them to make a whole bunch of money really fast later on by buying like cheap, crappy wands that don't have any like cheap, crappy blue wands that don't really have any skills on them, and you can put 3 chips and a wand into a cube and re-roll it, and you can re-roll it into something that has skills on it, and thus will sell back for more than you bought it for. So you can buy like, you know, a $500 wand and sell it for, you know, 10K sometimes. So it's a great way to make a whole bunch of cheap money. 14 to life and 7 to mana. That's early game enough, we'll keep that, but normal by end game we'll get rid of it. Let's go ahead and get this long staff, and then short staff. Okay. When we go back to town, we're going to grab that Bardiche, and we're going to try that and see how the damage goes on that. Oh, amplify and cold. That's bad. Okay. Get these throwing knives here. Another chipped. Okay, she can use the bow now. Jeez, I cannot talk today. Dexterity and poison res. Sure. And yeah, look at that damage change. 13 to 38 to 235 to 252. Bang. Alright. And then we're gonna go SLS and make a malice. And we can make we also have Neff tiers we can make. Another stealth we could make. Alright, so let's take a look at Vengeance with this Bardiche. Low end goes down a lot, or about half, but high end goes like double. So that's cool. We'll hang on to this spear in case we want to switch mercenaries at some point. God dang it, do what I tell you. There we go. Okay, well, let's repair. Again, this is slow attack speed though, so we'll try it out and we'll see how it goes. If it sucks, then we'll switch back, or even switch back to that stout nail, even though I put it in the shared. But all right, let's try this. Theoretically, our number of monsters that we one-shot should dramatically increase now. And again, we're not using our best, we don't have our best auras and stuff yet, so this build will really start singing once we get that first point into conviction. Now, once we kill Andariel and we do our respec, also that will help. So this is working pretty good so far. Should have bought potions. That was dumb of me. That's alright. Yeah, whatcha? A big ol' hack. Again, for our high-end item, as far as weapon bases go, we would like a champion axe. Because of the big old two-handers, it has the best damage, high attack speed ratio that we want. That has lower. Of the two options, there's that and something else. It has the lower requirements, so that's the one we're gonna go with. because items with really high requirements work when you have really great supporting gear, like at the end of the game, but not so much early on when you're just starting out. Like, for example, when you have an Enigma, that gives you like 1,000,000,000 strength. You can use a big 200 strength hammer if you want to. When you don't have that plus like 70 strength, you can't really pull that off nearly as well. So, yeah, we're just going to let fire do its work here. Where is this exit? It's a long way from the top if you want to rock and roll. I don't know why that song is stuck in my head, but it is. And our mercenary is an idiot. There she goes. She figured it out. Sometimes mercenary is not the brightest, and they'll do stupid stuff with that. Like, oh, I was gonna walk on this wall, and I just kind of stare at it. All right. Just out of curiosity, let me look and see what are some other item bases we could look for. So here's a champion sword. We're not going to use that eventually. Just kind of look at the requirements we should prepare to have. As Death Claver would be a good one. That's a one-hander. So for a partisan, we're going to need 113 strength and 67 dex if we find one. A partisan would be great for mid-game. War Pike, we need 165 strength, but this thing would be crazy good for us. Thank you. Let's see what this amulet does. Attack rating. Not enough. Oops. Make this gonna go kill Andariel here, and then after we kill Andariel, we'll do our respec before we go to Act 2. Again, if I had planned this a little better, I think we could have gotten by without respecing, because I think what we could have done, since Resist Fire is a synergy for both this and, or both Holy Fire and Vengeance, instead of pumping Holy Fire, we should have just put our points into Resist Fire, which would make our Holy Fire not as good, but it would save us a respec. So it's kind of how you choose, how you want to do it. If you don't mind using up a respec, because yeah, technically you get your 3 for free. You get 1 in each difficulty, but you can also like farm more of them, right? Like if you get a character that can farm all the bosses in hell. Lightning resist. This has fire and poison, and we'll keep that for now. There is great evil here. It is Andariel, the Anguish Queen. Another all res 8 shield there. So superior Krator. Also, we will probably turn down the player's count when we actually do the Andariel fight itself. Because even though we do a ton of fire damage, she's just going to melt our mercenary. I mean, she probably will anyway. We could do it in player's aid. It's just safer to not do that. But we'll try it on player's aid and we'll see how it goes. Because we're cruising right now. And we do have fire. Lots of fire. Hack. Alright. Got some potions going here. Ooh, we have 2 points, so let's go. Holy Freeze. And Vengeance. And then we'll go here. Again, we're going to respec, so, because I haven't played a Vengeance build in a while, so kind of screwed up the start here, but that's okay. That's why you can learn from my mistakes. And if you're playing along and you're watching and playing at the same time, my bad. Again. But I do think this build is really cool, and I think once we get respect and get some good gear going, it's gonna start cooking. But because we do a boatload of damage, like we're doing close to 300 damage on the top end, and we haven't even gotten past Andariel yet. So, and we're a physical character, like we're not like some crazy broken thing like a warlock. So, and we have close to 300 health. We're a Paladin, so life's good. Another Bardiche. Okay, we are gonna get the level 2 waypoint because if we want, we could probably farm Andariel with this character, kill her just a couple of times, see if we can get something like a Blood Fist that would really help us out, or like a Hussarus Boots. Cyrus Boots and Belt combo would be really good on this character, getting us the extra attack rating, and obviously the movement speed and the life and the res. I'm going to lure these guys out of this room, kind of fight them more one at a time here. Ow, you Gorbex the Hunter. He's a super unique. He's always in here, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure. Die. Alright. Whack. Oh, never mind. Maybe he's not, maybe. Ow. Spectral hit. Oh, jeez. Okay. Alright, we definitely need some potion love here. I mean, we'll take these miners, but they're not gonna super do a lot. Miner mana will be fine, because we don't have a ton of mana in our pool, but... Okay, so we're going to drop a portal here because we want to find that waypoint. Whack. Just going to whack these spiders here. Oh, there's a scepter. That could be worth a ton of money, hopefully. See what that rolled. Nope. Garbage. Okay. Yeah, this is what I think of the Paladin build. Like, there's obviously the main, probably the most popular Paladin build. I would think is hammers. Um, it's really strong. Fist of Heavens is also very good. The only thing about Fist of Heavens is you're kind of, you don't do, it doesn't work at all. Well, Holy Bolt doesn't work at all on non-undead and demons. So like a third of the monsters in the game you just don't really do damage to. There's a little bit of lightning damage in the Fist of Heavens part of it. So you can kind of get around it a little bit, but hammers you can kind of just kill whatever you want. But positioning Fist of Heaven's a lot safer than hammers, so there's kind of a trade-off there. I personally find Fist of Heaven's more fun to play, and the areas that it's good, it's ridiculously good. Like Chaos Sanctuary and stuff like that, it just is absurd. Any area where it's like all undead and demons, which is a huge portion of the areas in the game, or at least primarily demons and undead. I mean, it's 2/3 of the monsters at least. Yeah. So Hammered In is probably number one, and then Fist of Heavens, and then you see Smiters mostly for Uber farming, and then you can do Zeal is probably the next thing, and Vengeance is pretty uncommon. Not a lot of people run Vengeance. It's not the strongest thing, but I think it's actually pretty. I think it's fun, and I think it's actually pretty decent. So it's one of the reasons why we're doing it. But if you wanted an easier time through, especially if it was like your first character and you're looking to farm up some gear for your shared stash, and you wanted to play Paladin, I would recommend hammers. Fist of Heavens would also be also good. You just gotta work with the caveats that come with it. Oops. But again, play the things that you think are cool, and if you think that this Vengeance Paladin is cool, then there's no reason for why you can't play it as your first character. Especially if you're someone who's like a Dark Souls type of player, where you like a little bit more of a challenge. This build will definitely challenge you, because especially if you're doing the two-handed variant, you're not that safe. You don't have a shield. Most Paladins have the benefit of being able to easily run max block with a shield. It's a long way from the top if you want to rock and roll. Alright, well, let's go ahead and repair while we're here too. That way we don't randomly run into any issues while we're like fighting Andariel or something, which would be annoying as hell. Okay. We're going to go through our portal into this level 3. Some light potion. Man, the game's really not liking me and giving me a lot of these minor potions right now. Oops. Thought I clicked on that shrine. I guess I didn't. Whoops. Yeah. Just nothing but tiny potions. What is going on here? There's a light potion. Yeah, dang. So at this point, light healing potions don't really do much of anything for us. We have too much health. Or, I mean, minor potions. The light ones are actually good. So I'm still thinking about which aura we want to use once we respec, and my guess is probably going to be the I'm thinking Blessed Aim, because I want to make sure we're hitting every single time, because our build is, you know, one big strike, so we want to make sure we're landing that one big strike. We'll also get a point. We will also get a point in the Holy Freeze, though, as because A, we're going to need it to get to Conviction anyway, and B, if we're in an area that's like exceptionally dangerous, we can use it to for like a safety valve type of a thing. Another Grand Charm. A two-handed sword. Let's look at the damage on this guy. 8 to 17 base, as opposed to 1 to 27. And it's only 2 sockets, but it is fast attack speed. So if we could find one of these guys with like a few sockets in it. But 100% chance to open wounds, minus 100 monster defense, and prevent monster heal. And additional minus to enemy percentage enemy target defense. It's hard to beat that. But oh geez, this is a room I don't want to deal with. So we're gonna run right by it. No, thank you. Those ghoul lords are just kind of a pain in the ass. They have a lot of health. They run away from you. They shoot all kinds of BS at you. I don't really want to deal with that. If there's like one of them like here, then it's like that's fine. But when there's a big pack of them, they're just obnoxious. So we're fighting a lot of chips with this character, so that's kind of cool. Rare Spiked Club. Yeah, the old Stout Nail is it's basically Lucille, right? It's a legendary Spiked Club. Gore Kill. It's a cool name for all that. Of course, I hit the potion button right as I gained level. Okay. So we're going to go Vengeance again. Now our damage, we're really creeping up there, close to that 300. And keep in mind that 300 is split into 4 types, right? It's 122% of it is, or it's, you know, basically a quarter physical, a quarter cold, a quarter lightning, a quarter fire, with a little bit more leaning towards the fire. Oops. This bugger's lightning enchanted, so this is time to be really careful here. There's all these idiots beating on me as well. Can we get an inner sight going? Please, can we get an inner sight going? No, shouldn't want to do that. She's like, don't tell me how to do my job. I'm gonna go focus down these these shamans, because otherwise we're gonna be here all day. Okay. Ooh, a battle bow. That could potentially be good. Not gonna be good enough. Granted, it's gonna be hard to find a rare bow or a blue bow. It's gonna be better than Tal. I'm still on Player's 8, so I guess we're jamming it at Player's 8. Okay. Oh, Blaze, don't run in, you idiot. Thank you. She's gonna die. Alright, build a saber. We did saber. Slows target and knockback. I'm not a big fan of knockback, but, we'll take it. A small shield. U-wand. Hatchet hands. We'll come back for those other pieces. And we'll identify and sell this stuff. Andariel's dead, yay! Alright, we'll go back and grab those other goodies. Let's go ahead and do our respec. So we're gonna go bum. Max that as far as we can. And then we're gonna go bum. And then resist cold, resist fire, resist lightning. So let's go here. And let's go oops, crap. Alright, we don't have charge for a level. Whoops. I knew I was missing something. Okay, but that's fine. So now we can do our stats. We want to get it. Let's go up to 50 strength, just in case. Or let's do 45, and then 45. And then we'll do the rest on into vitality here. And now let's change our setup to being, we primarily want to use this. Again, we could put a point here. So the next 2 levels we're going to go charge and blessed aim, and I fucked up the respec, so I'm sorry guys, but that's alright. But now, you know, our vengeance is actually, you know, the damage itself is lower, but it's, you know, we don't have a stacked holy fire. So, moving forward, I think this is going to be a better setup, even though we have a little bit less damage right now. Anyway, let's go east. Talk to Jiren. Talk to Wariv. Talk to good old Mashif. Get the quest from Atma. So I know we made that Tal bow, but I'm going to save on the Blessed Aim point, and I'm just going to get a Blessed Aim Mercenary. That's what we'll do. Let's do we want Hazade? Hazade or Azrael or Emilio? Let's do Hazade. Alright. And then we'll give him our spear here. Now we don't have to worry about getting the point over here. So we'll just we'll use Radamit's point for charge, and then the rest of it we'll put into vengeance. We'll just keep going for vengeance here. So it actually just works out fine. It would work out fine. This saves us 2 skill points by using a Blessed Aim Merc. And then we're gonna buy. Oops. Now let's check and see if we can find some gear here. 18 magic find. I kind of like it. We'll use that for now. I'm not going to get rid of the Klee Laws. We'll keep that for bosses because the slowest target on bosses is insane. Doesn't look like any. We could get this grab, and we'll grab. We'll leave him with the thing he's got. So again, we'll put that in here. We'll put our money away. We have a ton of money. Okay. Let's move forward. If you're wondering why our life total is draining, that Malice has life drain on it. we're hitting like every time. What I say as we miss. You know, and we're on players 8, so it's okay. Oops, didn't mean to pick those up. So yeah, Radiment's point will make up for the point I forgot to put in charge. Oops. Running around like a chicken with my head cut off here. I don't know why these guys aren't getting chilled. There they go. Well, that's the nice thing about Vengeance too, is because you're doing all elements of damage, you get the wonderful benefit of freezing things when you hit them. And we're using Holy Freeze, so I mean we're double whammying that, but yeah, Vengeance does all the types, so. Except for Poison, I guess in Magic, but it is the other the more elemental damages. Yeah, like now, see, 132% is coming from our fire, and 132% from lightning, and then 82% from the cold damage. And the aura itself, it only adds 10 to 15 damage. That's the main difference between this and Holy Fire. You know, we had 6 points in the Holy Fire, so Holy Fire was adding a ton of damage, but this is going to be the way moving forward. And we want to max out Vengeance as soon as possible. So, and then once we have Vengeance maxed out, we really just need to worry about getting the best weapon we can at all times, and just have the best weapon bases that we can find. Ooh, a rare ring. Okay. Let's see what it does. Faster cast rate, attack rating, damage reduced. I'll take the poison res over the attack rating down here. Large axe. Not good enough. I'm gonna double check over here because I really don't want to like run all the way down there and have it be that we walked past it up here. Okay, I just need to be sure. Having some form of life leech and mana leech and will be good on this build. At least, you know, because we have Malice, and Malice is annoying because it drains our life. We will eventually look at, when we get into Nightmare, we'll look at other rune words we could potentially build. Insight is kind of the obvious one. You can build it in a polearm. So if we want to continue to use polearm, we can use an Insight. But there's also like lots of cool things you put in axes and stuff. Like, I don't know if you can put Oath into an axe. I think you can. We'll have to look, but things like Oath or Kingslayer or Honor, things like that. Also, like I said, we can get if we get a big old two-handed sword, it'd be cool. It's all about we just want to do a big damage, because that's what this build is designed to do. Is just when I hit you, it should feel like a nuclear warhead hitting you, and then I hit the next guy. And the next guy, so it's like a single target. Since you're melee class, you're taking you're hitting one guy at a time. If we're gonna hit one guy at a time, I want to hit him as hard as possible. So, yeah, we might actually need to do this. We're chewing through mana here. That would be another reason why we'd want Insight. Is we don't have to worry about mana anymore. And like I said, we could grab that one from, we do have that Insight in the stash, but we're not going to grab that. This is solo self-found, so farm it the old-fashioned way. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can find like a partisan or something. Or eventually, a cryptic axe would be really dope. Okay, a monster shrine. So the next monster we run into should automatically be upgraded to a boss monster. At least the next monster that spawns. Or maybe it's the next monster that spawns, yeah. Because that guy was not a boss. Either of these. Oh, maybe it might have spawned when we count that. That's the direction we were kind of like leaned towards for a moment there. That's my guess. So we're not quite one-shotting dudes, but we're 1 to 2-shotting dudes. Jose, do you want to help, dude? Contribute. Thank you. He's like, nah, I get paid by the hour. I'm doing alright. Yep, these guys are the guys who got updated. Gorefang the Unholy got upgraded by the Monster Shrine. So see, Holy Freeze is starting to help out here, doing work, slowing those guys and their attacks from really putting a beating on us there when we were surrounded. Elrun. This looks like Ronman might be over here. There's the different colored skeletons. He usually has, yep, here he goes. I was gonna say, he usually has multiple types of skeletons working for him. Okay, this cold guy needs to die. I'll whack him around now. Man, Radamant is tanky as hell. A heraldic shield is always welcome. Put charge on R2. Perfect. The taste of vengeance is bittersweet, especially when served up by Batman, the Vengeance Paladin. Okay, so, yeah, bye. Poison damage and stamina, poopy. Another faster hit recovery, but nothing else on it when you were near that. Lightning resist, we'll keep that. Attack rating and extra gold from monsters. Attack rating. So we do have the runes to make a second malice, so if we can go and look and find a 3-socket base for Hazade. I'll take that, it's got life on it. Not much, but a little bit. Okay. check Elzix, see if he has a 3-socket weapon for his aid. Ooh, 22 magic fine, that's better than 18, we'll take it. Attack rating versus hit recovery. Got a 1-socket spear. Okay, let's gamble a belt. So we currently, I mean, our belt, we have a belt, but it sucks balls, so. Faster hit recovery, strength, life, and fire resist. Yeah, that's, I'm okay with that. That can go away. That can go away. Alright, perfect. And now we can't get a teleport staff yet. Let's go ahead and turn the players count. Yeah, we'll keep it on players 8 and we'll see how we do. Again, being over leveled when you're a fighting character is not a bad thing. Because a big part of the hit calculation is kind of determined by 2 things. Your attack rating versus the monster's defense, and your level versus the monster's level. So if you're a higher level, you have a better chance of hitting everything in the game, regardless of its stats or anything. So, yeah. So being over, so for as far as being a fighting character, attacks and uses attack rating, there's no such thing as being over leveled. So the sword, only 1 socket, not good enough for us. Alright, that guy's like ethereal and shit, and I don't really want to deal with him, so we're just gonna move on. I do hate leapers. Anyone who's seen the stream before knows I hate these guys. They do, as you can see, a good grip of damage to us. And when you hit them, they like fly away, and then they jump around. They're just kind of annoying to deal with. So, more often than not, I will just run past them because they kind of piss me off. But sometimes I'll kill them. But yeah, you don't want to stand in the middle of this kind of stuff, because like Hazade's doing, because you'll get like, you know, beat on from all sides, and that's not what you're looking to do. But Hazade is a boss. He doesn't care. He's just like, I'm in. I'm all in. So that tier rune for a little bit of mana per kill would be pretty good here. Because, let's see, Vengeance is costing 4.5 mana per swing, and we're killing guys in 1 to 2 hits. So if we get, you know, 2 mana back per, you know, 9 mana we're spending, you know, it's not great, but it definitely will add up over time. And if we had 2 Tyranids, then it'd be really not bad. We can also turn the player count down again if we wanted. If we were, there we go. Yeah, the level we're at right now. A lot of times I'm in, you know, Act 3 by now, so we're doing well. We're gonna go Vengeance, of course, and then we're gonna go a little more Vitality. There's the Stony Tomb. And if you're in Hell, the Stony Tomb is one of those areas that's, I think it's level 85. It might be like 84 or something. I think they upgraded it. I think it's 85 now. And it's a great place to farm. So let's check it out. So Not sure what level it is in normal, but these should be. Yeah, I mean, it's usually higher level than the area that it's in, so we should get good experience here. Like these, especially from these beetles here. Beetles are worth a lot of experience because they're pretty dangerous, and they're like a big monster. So they're. Ooh, a superior Volge. This could. Does it have 3 sockets? No, it does not. I was hoping to that would be a possible base for Malice for our homie here. Poison guys, not my favorite. But flawed jewel or gem. One of the things we want to keep our eye out for is, just like when we get to the forge, is we'd like to get a perfect ruby so we can craft some gloves at some point. Again, if we want to, we can go back and farm Andariel a touch, and try and get like a blood fist or something. That would really, really help, because our attack speed is ass right now. And blood fist gives attack speed and 40 life and 30 faster hit recovery, so we wouldn't have to worry about hit recovery or attack speed much for a while. So that's an option we could do. Maybe we'll do that. We'll go back and kill Andariel one more time here. But we'll see. We're doing okay. Sanders gloves and boots would also be a good combo. Oh my god, that guy hits hard. Yeah, like mana burnt. Extra strong and cold enchanted. What a jackass. Lies. Okay. Blood Vex the Unholy. Spectral Hit, though. Spectral Hit is basically Vengeance, from what I understand. I think it hits. It does all the different elements. I just don't know if it does like Vengeance, if it does them all the same in like one attack. I am not sure exactly how that works for them. Anyway, there's a Stony. Let's see. Stop following me, jackass. Alright, Dry Hills. So here's where we're gonna find the Halls of the Dead so we can get the cube. Birds are assholes. There's a waypoint. Alright. Oops. Lycanthropy and Poison Creeper. Stamina is poopy. Replenish life. Again, let's check for 3-socket pole arms for Hazade. Nope. Okay. So there's gonna be our exit towards the maggot layer. That's not where we're going right now. Alright, where is this Halls of the Dead here? Oh, Gore Bite the Unholy. We gotta kill him. He's got conviction. Conviction or monsters are a good way to get killed. But see how charge is great for just like moving around. It's the main reason why we want to point to charge. Yeah, it's helpful for engaging too, like we can go like wham. But just being able to move around the map very quickly is pretty good. It's kind of what makes the sorceress with teleport like super OP in the minds of a lot of people. That's why everybody wants Enigma, right? Well, to be fair, Enigma you could take like any two of the abilities off of Enigma and it'd still be the best armor in the game. Like it's just, I don't know what they were thinking. They're like, hey, what if this thing gave you 1,000,000 strength, faster run walk, shitload of magic find, and let you teleport. That seems good, right? Like, you could have taken any, like, 2 of those things off of it and it'd still be, like, really good. Because it does other stuff too on top of it that I'm not, like, that I don't know, like, don't know off the top of my head. Those are, like, the highlights. So even an armor giving you, like, 70 strength like it does, it's, like, that's insane. Alright, we're back up to, like, 250 damage. And we're poisoned for 100 years, as is tradition. Oh, stupid wall. That sucks. God dang it. Ooh. Okay, champion spear cats are a little spooky. They're hitting pretty hard here. Yeah, vengeance is working great. It's you know, are we breaking any land speed records here? No. But not every build needs to do that. Alright. We're so close to being able to have our cube. I can taste it. Right around one of these corners here. In one of these rooms. Okay, we got a waypoint. These decayed guys, they always poison you for like a million years. Okay. Viper Shifter the Dead. What's a name you got there, buddy? Another Grand Charm. Let's see what you do. Fire damage. Not good enough. Again, we actually want physical damage charms because physical damage charms add to our base, which adds to our vengeance. So it actually would do it if that was like 1 to 2. If that was 2 physical damage, that would actually add way more via vengeance than the 1 to 2 fire damage actually does. Neighbor's dog barking there. Okay. Another Volge we can check. 2 sockets. That could make a strength. Granted, we're not going to find an Amaru until Nightmare anyway. Well, I guess we could find it from our forge, but that seems unlikely. And strength is really only for killing bosses. And technically, Malice is good for as the part of Malice is kind of doing that as well with the 100% chance to open wounds. Which, if you don't know what open wounds does, it's basically poison, but it's not poison. So it actually, like for example, if you have someone who's poisoned and you poison them again, they can only be poisoned by like one type of poison at a time, right? So like it'll override it or whatever. I don't think open wounds. It doesn't. I don't think it overrides poison. I think it takes in addition to poison because it's a different type of thing. And if you're doing something like if you're doing like Ubers, you need to have them either poisoned or open wounded pretty much all the time, because otherwise they will regenerate their health like ridiculously fast, because that's like their thing. And then they're basically unkillable. So another Eldrune. There it is. There's the beauty. And we got the Diggler, the Dark Diggler. So we're gonna move everything over a smidge and make the cube. Oh. God dang it. Alright. We'll go ahead and sell the Diggler because we're not going to use a dagger. I mean, that's not. We're a Vengeance Paladin. We want to hit things hard. We don't want to, take them with a dagger. So, not what we're in the business of doing. Actually, we'll check for weapons again. No. Oh, actually, check those swords. Nope. Check Elzix as well, and then we'll go after the Maggot Lair. Two-socketed sword. Again, I think we could make a steel in that, but I don't think that'll do as much damage as the thing we're using. Let's take a quick gander. Let me pull up steel and see what it does. D2R steel. So can you go into sword, ace, axe, or mace? And it gives 25% attack speed, 20% enhanced damage, 3 to minimum and maximum damage. Some attack rating, 50% chance open wounds, 2 mana per kill, 1 to light radius. So 20% extra damage on top of what the sword does. So let's look at that sword. Because this is 1 to 27 plus 33% hash damage. So this is going to be more, but if we look at the sword, 8 to 27 plus 20% of that would be like 2. So it'd be like 10 to 19 or 10 to 20, something like that. As opposed to 1 to 44. And then I guess it would add the 3, so it'd be like 13 to 23, 13 to 25, something like that. Now the attack speed would be better, I think. Yeah, fast attack speed. Let's buy, I mean, we have the runes, so let's buy it and let's look. We can try it. If it doesn't work, it's a tier rune and an L rune, who cares? Tier L steel. Yeah, 12 to 23 is way less than this, but the middle damage should be okay. But let's see what we're doing vengeance wise. So 14 to 250 versus 73 to 142 is a pretty big difference. But also slow to fast attack speed is pretty big difference too. So like, I kind of want to just, let's give it a shot. And then also, that lets us give this to our mercenary. Which will make his damage go from 49 to 74. Yeah, let's do this. And, you know, this can go into shared. We're not going to use it anymore. Oops. Oh yeah, I found a rainbow fast today. That's what I was like, what is that doing there? Okay. Cool. So now we have a big old dope sword. And let's give it a try and see how it goes. Let's go back to the dry hills. And I believe Beetle Burst is in here. Oh yes, this is way faster. And we're still, well, these are weaker monsters, so, you know, it's kind of hard to judge if what our damage is looking like compared against these things. Okay, so we went from kind of 2-shotting stuff to now we're 3-shotting stuff, 3 and 4. But, you know, our mercenary is also doing a lot better now, though. So I guess it kind of like is evening out, I think. So I think this is okay. I think this is fine. And now we don't have to worry about building a second malice. So he's got, actually this could be worth, try this gnarled staff. That should be worth money. Alright, something around here has Fanaticism aura, so let's be careful here. Okay, Sin Weaver the Unclean has Fanaticism, so let's kill him. There we go. Also, we're not draining our own health anymore. Malice doesn't actually drain... The drain life thing doesn't work on mercenaries, so they don't have to worry about it. Which is nice. Here's Beetle Burst. Beetle Burst is also somebody you can farm if you get a waypoint close to him. Because he's always in the same... you can spawn him close to the waypoint like that, and then kill him over and over again. And he can have a decent number of minions with him, and he's a beetle, so he's worth a lot of experience. So are his minions. So, all right, here's the maggot lair. We just gotta find the waypoint now. Kill the sand maggot. Looks like the waypoint's gonna be obnoxious and way over here. Oh man, recharge first. You like that. There it is. Double faster cast rate rings, okay. We will cube up all those here in a little bit. Now that we have the cube, but for now I'm worried about just getting through the maggot layer. Nice, we had a nice map there. So it should be this way. 'Cause basically the rule of thumb in the maggot layer is excuse me, good grief, is head left from where you came in. So if we came in facing this way, so this would be left. And then when you get to the third level, you head as far as you can in this direction towards where it says maggot layer up in the corner, because she's always cold worm is always at the end of the line in that direction. We'll go more vengeance, more vitality. We're now up to like 150 damage. Oops. Get that long staff. And we're now level 23. Come on. Oh. This looks like that may have, the rule of thumb may have been wrong. So let's go this way. I always thought it was left is law. That's down here. Left is law. I don't know if you're not old like me, you may not have heard of left is law, but that was like an old thing from like certain, I don't remember what game exactly it was, but there was like an older game where there was a lot of like maze like areas, and it turns out if you just like always go left, like you don't have to worry about it. And left is law is kind of spawned from that. Kind of like Tails never fails. Yeah. Or left side, strong side. That's always a good one. Anyone else play football when they were a kid? I didn't get to play nearly as many years as I wanted to, because my mother was kind of anti me doing anything I actually enjoyed doing or wanted to do, or anything physical, or anything that cost her money. And football is all of those things. So I didn't get to play until like my senior year of high school, which meant I was very far behind as far as skills. But I have a really good work ethic. I work my ass off, and I'm pretty big and strong, so I did okay. I was able to, play varsity and stuff, but didn't play a ton. But it was really fun. It built a lot of camaraderie, and I played basketball as well. Kind of a similar deal. Like my coaches were all like, "Man, if we had you for, 4 years instead of 1, we could have done some things with you." I'm like, "Yeah, that'd have been great." Yeah, I think, but I think all kids should participate in some kind of, not necessarily, sports is ideal, I think, but some kind of extracurricular that they can have fun and be successful in. Holy shit. One thing to note, charge bolt, that thing that shoots out of the lightning guys, can shotgun, meaning that if you get hit with multiple of them at once, they all do damage to you individually, so you can get hit by like 10 of them and take 10 times damage essentially. Some skills can do that and some skills don't. Like for example, the Necromancer's Teeth skill for some reason doesn't shotgun, so it doesn't do that, which means the Necromancer's Teeth skill is way crappier than the Sorceress's Charge Bolt skill, because it doesn't shotgun. So that's interesting. That some skills get that lovely perk and others do not. I'll grab a rejuve. Oops, not save and exit. Go back to town. When Cold Worm dies and she kind of explodes like that, did I ever talk to Alpina? Yeah, I did. She will super poison you pretty much every time. So, once. Alright, so oops, one of my chips went to the shared. That's alright. This is how we had to do it back in the day. Before the wonderfulness that is the modern shared stash. next we're gonna do rejuves. All right. We have successfully cubed up a ton of stuff. And now we need to go to the Lost City. But it's getting late and I still need dinner, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll stop here, and tomorrow we'll pick up and finish up Act 2. My hope is tomorrow physically I'll be feeling a little bit better and we can get through a bigger chunk of the game, and hopefully you know, if we get finished normal, that would be great, but that might be a little ambitious. But yeah, we'll go ahead and stop here for now, and we'll pick back up tomorrow. So thanks everyone for watching, and again, of course, this will be going up on YouTube. I just gotta have a chance to, I don't edit anything, I don't edit these videos, they just kind of go straight to, I just put the actual like VOD on YouTube, so it'll be on there in not too terribly long. It'll be there probably before tomorrow morning. So thanks for watching, and if you didn't catch the whole stream, you can catch it on YouTube. Thanks guys, see you tomorrow.